Today we're starting chapter 19. Today's lecture, first lecture, should only take a few minutes because we're just going to go over the first page. We've done a lot of this before, so it should make sense and it should be fairly straightforward. Today we're going to deal with oxidation numbers. An oxidation number is a positive or negative number assigned to an atom according to rules. So here we see our rules. So for determining oxidation numbers, rule number one, if you are a free element by yourself, your oxidation number will be 0. So aluminum by itself will have a charge of 0. Iron by itself will have a charge of 0. Number two is fairly straightforward. We do this just as a matter of fact. The charge of an ion, the oxidation number of an ion is equal to its charge. So Al3+, when it's found in a compound, is stating that aluminum's charge is +3. Number three, the more electronegative the atom, the greater it's going to have the negative charge. So as we go to the right, electronegativity increases. So as we go to the right, that atom tends to be the negative charged atom in the formula. So NH3, nitrogen would have the -3 charge, and then to balance it out, H would have to be +1. Number four, the oxidation number of the most electronegative element, which is fluorine, is always -1. So number four, fluorine is always -1. 5, the oxidation number of oxygen is almost always -2. Almost always. They're going to ask you about the exceptions. One exception is a peroxide. In a peroxide, which is 2O2, then oxygen's charge would be -1. Or if it bonds with fluorine, in which case fluorine must be -1. So if we have OF2, fluorine must be -1. So in this case, oxygen has to be +2. So that when added together, the oxidation numbers add up to 0. Na2O2, this is a peroxide. Oxygen is -1. Sodium is +1. So the charges add up to 0. Number 6, hydrogen is almost always +1. The exception is when it forms a hydride. A hydride is where you have a metal from group 1 or group 2 attached to hydrogen. So calcium hydride. Calcium is +2, so H has to be -1. 7, group 1 and group 2 will always be +1 and +2. Aluminum will always be +3. Number 8, the sum of oxidation numbers in a compound have to add up to 0. So AlCl3, aluminum is +3. Top number for chlorine is -1. So the formula is AlCl3 so that the charges add up to 0. If we have MgO, then Mg is +2, O is -2, so that again the charges add up to 0. The last rule, number 9, just says if you have an ion, the charge has to add up to the ion. So if we have SO4 minus 2, the charges have to add up to minus 2. Well, it gets a little confusing where you put your numbers, but oxygen is minus 2 for a total of minus 8, so sulfur has to be plus 6, so that it adds up to minus 2. If we have the hydroxide ion, the charges have to add up to minus 1. Oxygen is minus 2, H is plus 1, so we see it does add up to minus 1. Tomorrow I'm going to hand out a handout and we can start practicing this. So that's it for tonight. Not bad, under 6 minutes. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.